In this video, we'll be looking at the discriminant. Definition. The discriminant is the quantity under the radical, or the radicand, in the quadratic formula. So the discriminant is b squared minus 4ac. If a, b, and c are integers, the value of the discriminant can be used to determine whether the solutions of a quadratic equation are rational, irrational, or non-real complex numbers. Let's look at a table. If the value of my discriminant is a positive perfect square, then that means we can square root it and we'll get two solutions, and they'll both be rational solutions. If the value of the discriminant, however, is positive and not a perfect square, then we'll still get two solutions, but those solutions will be irrational. If the value of the discriminant is 0, then we'll have the square root of 0 to the right of the plus minus, and I won't have two solutions. I'll have one solution, but it'll be a double solution, and it'll be a rational number. And if the value of the discriminant is negative, then I'll have a negative number under the square root, and I'll still have two solutions because of the plus minus, but the solutions will be non-real complex or imaginary numbers. Now let's do a few examples. We're asked to determine the number of distinct solutions and tell whether they're rational, irrational, or non-real complex numbers. Our first example is the quadratic 4x squared minus 12x plus 9 equals 0. Now usually these directions not only ask you to do these two things, find the number of solutions and tell what type they are, but they'll also say do not solve the equation. So what we're going to do is just look at the discriminant. My discriminant is the part that's under the square root, which is b squared minus 4ac. So that's all I'm going to look at. Remember that in order to get the value for a, b, and c, you have to have a 0 on one side, which we do, and then it needs to be in descending order of the powers of x. And I can now see that a is 4, b is negative 12, and c is 9. So just looking at our discriminant, we need b squared, so negative 12 squared is 144, minus 4 times a, which is 4, times c, which is 9. So our discriminant then is 144 minus 144, which is 0. So because the value under the radical is 0, that means we only have one solution, and it will be rational. Look at another one. And on this one, we need to get a 0 on the right side, so we'll add 5 to both sides. We have 3x squared plus x plus 5 equals 0. So now I can get the values for a, b, and c. A is 3, b is 1, c is 5. And my discriminant then, b squared minus 4ac, will be 1 squared, which is 1, minus 4 times 3 times 5. So we have 1 minus 60, which is negative 59. Now, because the discriminant is a negative number, that means under the radical, I have a negative number, which makes it imaginary. So I have two solutions, and they are non-real complex. Do one more. Again, we're going to need to get these two terms on the left side. So we have 2x squared minus 6x minus 7 equals 0. Now I can find the values for a, b, and c. A is 2, b is negative 6, and c is negative 7. And so my discriminant, b squared minus 4ac, is negative 6 squared is 36, minus 4 times a, which is 2, times c, which is negative 7. So here I have 36. I have two negative signs multiplied together, so plus, and then 56. When I add these together, I get 92. And because the value under the radical is a positive number, but it's not a perfect square, so I won't be able to square root that, my discriminant is 92, so I have two solutions, but they will be irrational since I can't square root those.